Hello and welcome to 7 for 12 with me, Steve Harmison. Riding solo today, no John Norman. John Norman is on family duty. Family always comes first with us. The little one's not very well, so we're sending him all our best wishes and fingers crossed John will be back tomorrow. Just remember, we are here at the end of every single day's play of the English international summer. That's including the World Test Championship, which we finally got a toss, teams, and the test match got underway. Well, the teams were a surprise. New Zealand didn't pick a spinner. India were as predicted because they announced their team 24 hours earlier. A lot of contention that not being able to, to field a spinner. They wanted to get Jamieson in, and rightly so. But India started very, very well. 60 for none, and looking good. Questioning mark whether the toss was the right thing or not. Favourable English conditions, but Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill batted beautifully. Virat Kohli was excellent. I thought he was brilliant. 146 for 3 in just over 64 overs. So when you look at the bowling attack, it's a fantastic bowling attack. They were given the conditions, and it sets up for a fascinating World Championship Test match, because when you look at the way the toss came, Kane Williamson was very, very quick to say, yes, we'll have a bowl. Played 5 seamers, that was including Colin de Grandhomme. And his bowlers didn't disappoint. They put the ball in the right area. They asked questions of New Zealand's batsmen. Of the Indian batsmen. And India got off to a fantastic start. Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill got to 60 for none. And you're thinking, ooh, they've rode the luck here. They've earned the right to score the runs, as I would always say. And then there was a passage of play of around about 6 or 7 overs where I think 36 balls came down, 2 wickets were gone, very, very little runs, and New Zealand got their just rewards. A little bit like they did with England at Edgbaston in the second Test match. Just before lunch, no wickets, they bowled beautifully. And then after lunch, they got a bag of 3 or 4 wickets. One brings 2, as fielders say, and it was brilliant. So for me, fair play to the Indian batsmen for overcoming that new ball. But Anderson and Broad just slipped, give it a little bit of a insight to what this Duke ball does in 2021. They said after 8 or 9 overs, the lacquer goes off and it starts swinging, and that's what actually happened. Very, very good bowling by Kyle Jamieson. First wicket was crucial, absolutely crucial. Great catch by Tim Southey. For me, that was the moment of the day. That was the moment of the day, was Kyle Jamieson. He makes the breakthrough. He gets the great Rohit Sharma out. And it was a wonderful catch by fast bowler Tim Southey, who bowled beautifully at the other end. They got the ball to talk. They got the opening. And then all of a sudden, 1 brings 2. Shubman Gill goes for 28 off a little feather from Neil Wagner, who again ran in and bowled superbly well. And all of a sudden, New Zealand are on the front foot. They're going forward. And I thought it was magnificent bowling by the New Zealand player. But then eventually in walks Virat Kohli. The man is a genius. Talked about yesterday, and my best 11 played against. Well, I only played against Virat in one day cricket, I think a couple of times. He came in just as my career was finishing, and talked about the little master in Sachin. The balance that Virat had. Key to any young player, this running between the wickets. When you're on a wicket, which is doing a bit, the value for your runs and the amount of runs and rotating the strike, and not letting the bowler just sort of dig a trench, and what you'd say I mean by dig a trench is outside off stump, and really sort of get into the batsman. Make sure he stays down at one end. Make sure he's not getting any easy singles. The field crowds him in, it squeezes. And I thought Virat Kohli did that brilliantly. He got off strike, he got his ones, and he got in a position to hit the ball. And I thought it was a masterclass of batting on a bowler friendly surface. But just before Virat came in, there was a passage of play when Neil Wagner had a really good go at Pujara. Pujara, somebody who bats a bit like, so going back to yesterday, the Rahul Dravid, absorbed the game, nice and easy. Very relaxed, not bothered about the scoring rate, making sure that he just sits in, tires the bowlers out for the batting to come down to really cash in and catch the game up. And a lot of teams have struggled around the world to really ruffle Pujara's feathers, but Wagner did. He hit him with a really, really big blow on the helmet. Big blow on the helmet. And it just knocked his balance a little bit, just knocked his coordination a bit. Everything was fine. Had the check. Everything was fine. Continued batting. And he got a beauty off Trent Boult. Were they going to review it? Were they not going to review it? It was a good decision not to review it. Michael Goff doesn't get many wrong, and he didn't. This pitched on middle, swung back, hit middle, and it was a fantastic bit of bowling from both ends. You don't only always bat in partnerships, you bowl in partnerships as well. So for me, that was a great bit of play. And I actually thought then that India could be all out for 150 here. They could be all out for 150. But I got saying about Virat Kohli, the way he just put the onus back onto the bowler. You know, he didn't get flustered. He understood that the bowler was going to bowl a good ball, and there was an over in the game. And it was a beauty of an over in the game by Tim Southey. Again, a lesson to young bowlers. The first one went away. The second one, he turned the seam, the shiny side onto the other side, and tried to take the ball away. But because the seam was the shiny side, the heavy side was on the outside, it wanted to go in, and I just nipped back. And I actually thought I was watching an action replay. For 3 balls, I thought I was watching an action replay. He played and missed. Virat Kohli played and missed. He played and missed. I played and missed. It didn't bother him. It didn't bother him. The next ball, a little bit closer, tried to get a bit greedy, knocked it for 1, and then he bowled 2 absolute beauties, a little bit like earlier in the over, to Ajinkya Rahane, and he played and missed both times. Not good enough to get anywhere near it, but it didn't seem to bother the 2 Indian batsmen. They just picked up where they left off. If it was there to defend, they defended. If it's there to hit, they hit it. Virat Kohli's got 44 of 124 balls with 1-4. That's phenomenal batting and a wicket which in a surface and a cloud cover that's doing all sorts. What's the score in the game? Well, I reckon in the game scores about 250. 250. If India can get somewhere near 250, I think they'll be very, very happy. And the bowlers that India have got, I think they might just be in the game. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fingers crossed that the weather does stay fine for the rest of the game. We have got a reserve day, and it can go into that 6th day if needed. But you know, it's going to be an interesting morning come tomorrow morning if the sun's going out. Spin bowler, was it the right thing for New Zealand not to play the spin bowler? Well, on social media, there's been a big debate. Shane Warne was adamant. He is adamant. And Shane Warne knows the Aegeus Bowl at Southampton more than anybody else because he captained Hampshire on many, many occasions. And he always said, if it seems, it'll spin. And there was a little tweet out there. He was just throwing it out there that New Zealand might have just made a mistake. And if India managed to get around 225, 250, then that could come back to haunt them. And somebody from a little bit left field, no idea who he was, what sort of cricket he's played, probably dog and duck third 11, decided to tell Shane Warne he knew nothing about spin bowling. So, which Virender Sehwag piped up, managed to show the world, and it was a very, very amusing little text exchange. But I just wonder if Warney's right. Just wonder if not playing a spinner comes back to haunt you in the latter part of the game, because when the wicket's damp, the footholes get a bit bigger, they get a bit wider, and I just wonder if it might come back to haunt New Zealand. So, fingers crossed, we get another very, very good day's cricket tomorrow. Score at this moment in time: India 146 for 3 after 64 overs. Trent Boult bowled absolutely beautifully. Neil Wagner, Tim Southey, Kyle Jamieson, who I didn't think would play. I thought Kyle Jamieson would be the one that missed out, but he got the breakthrough, and that's why this guy's in this side. He can get something out of nothing because of his height. It's going to be intriguing and fascinating to see what happens tomorrow. So join us then, and just remember, please like and subscribe.